What's up, Mad World? It's Coach Sess. Hey, I want to talk about reps. I'm always saying do the reps. Do the reps. And exactly what do I mean when I say do the reps? I want to talk about two quotes that I've heard in my life. One comes from Sugar Ray Leonard, where he says, even after being multiple time world champion and leaving boxing, that he's still focused on trying to master the jab. And what that shows is that it's a continued process of evolution. The ability to keep going, to see deeper or deeply into the thing that you're invested in. And then the other quote came from Muhammad Ali, where he says, I don't count my sit-ups until they start hurting, which means that he does not put a time limit into developing skill. He is patient. He goes through the process. He knows that there's a certain feel that goes with this, and he'll know when he's kind of reached his limit for that particular day or that particular exercise. That's what I mean when I talk about reps. One of those two concepts has to be consistent, if not both of them. So let's use this example. Let's say we're working on the tool of the jab cross. That's the tool set. And we're utilizing the concepts of the 5 elements: posture, position, timing, distance, and balance. And we're going to give ourselves 500 reps. Why 500 reps? Because that's what you're used to. Someone's always telling you in the gym to do 20 reps, 30 reps, 50 reps, 500 reps. It doesn't matter. They're always putting a limitation on you. I want to show you how to use that and show you exactly what you're really going through. And I hope by me talking about it that you'll probably eliminate numbers from your training methodology. Okay, so let's say that we're working on the 1-2 and we're going to do 500 reps. And in that 500 reps, we're focused entirely on posture. Our starting position, our return position. That's it. Just our posture, where our hands are. Hands are up near the face, they go out, they come back near the face. We're not talking about speed, power, dynamics. We're not talking about what the opponent does to us. We're not talking about maximum impact or anything. We just want the punches to go out and the punches to come back. Maintain our posture while we're doing it. Then what happens next is then you begin to become a little bit more aware, even when no one has told you to become aware. You become aware of your training partner. You become aware of their hand positioning. You become aware of new targets. So at this point, you're doing the 500 reps, but you're no longer focused on your posture. You start to see the weaknesses and the holes in their posture. That's right. You even gain ideas in terms of, if I cut this angle, I could land this. If he throws this and I take this angle, I could defend this. But no one's teaching you this. It's a very instinctive game. And only because you're doing rep after rep after rep after rep, you're starting to level up. You're starting to become more self-aware because you're doing the reps. And then it's timing. You start to understand and get better timing. Don't confuse timing with speed. But at the same time, I can understand why you start to feel that you are speeding up or that you're becoming faster. It's because you're becoming enthralled and a little bit obsessed with this improvement that you're making, but you don't know how you're making it. It's just your body, your mind, your being overall is becoming more self-aware of the interactions between you and your opponent or your training partner. And what's happening is every rep you begin to get a little bit more clarity, but only if you do the reps. And then you start to realize the distance has changed, or the distance can change, or that you can create new starting positions in new distances. You can recover, you can defend. And even without a coach necessarily walking you through all these phases, and let's not be silly here, you're gonna need a coach, but at the same time, you're starting to develop your own self-awareness, which is going to make that coach's job a lot easier. And you start to realize the things that you can do just by doing simple 1-2s for a long period of time. And then you level up with this new concept of self-awareness. You realize that you're no longer just focusing on your posture. Now you begin to understand the different positions, the different angles that you can take, and you can start from this distance to that distance. You can attack this target with just the same tool. And then you start to understand some of the dynamics that go into it in terms of being able to deliver energy, throw it at your opponent, throw it at your training partner, throw it at the bag, at the focus mitts or whatever. And you also realize what comes back at you. Whether you're doing a partner drill or some type of live energy drill, you realize that you have to throw energy out and learn to receive energy as well. And so again, you develop this level of self-awareness almost intuitively just by doing the reps. And that's what I mean when I say do the reps. Not so much as that, since I said 5 elements, it's not so much that you do 2,500 reps just to say that you're stronger. It's that you're doing these reps until you hit the next level of awareness, until you hit the next level of awareness after that, until you hit the next level. So this is where the Ali concept comes in. You don't really worry about 500. I just use that as an example. What you do is you do the reps and you have that small idea, oh, I just want to work on my posture. And then what happens, you start to level up. Now, inside of these different phases where you level up, you're not just jumping to the next phase arbitrarily. You actually understand what is good posture. What is the structural and mechanical aspects that I need to maintain to have what one would call good posture. And then intuitively, instinctively, as you're focused on that, you will automatically go to the next levels. When you're telling yourself that you're at the next level, or you're trying to think your way into the next level, you're not exactly leveling up as much as you think you are. You're actually holding yourself back, because what's going to happen is you may weaken the previous level because you're so excited to jump to the next level that you forgot to work on the fundamentals. Because by working on these fundamentals, after you're done with the 1-2, you're going to realize that the jab cross hook is even easier. The jab cross hook and uppercut is even easier. The jab, slip and roll, weave back to the body shot, come back with an uppercut, is easier. So the more complex the so-called alleged combo becomes, then the easier it gets, because you focused on those basics. The more complex and difficult that the combo is as you continue on, you generally means you did not focus on those fundamental and basic movements, unfortunately. So when I say do the reps, you do the reps with no idea about doing a set number. You do the reps until what Bruce Lee talked about, body feel. So body feels at every phase though. So as you're working it, you can feel your posture. And you also do self-correction in these modes. You realize if your hands are not coming back to your chin, chest, clavicle area. You realize if you're dragging your punches as they go out and return back. You realize if you're standing in front of your training partner or your opponent after you land your shots. You begin to develop more and more self-awareness, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to follow this basic rule of performance: hit and not get hit. In reality, it's hit and get hit less. But because you follow that concept, you start to realize when you're not living up to the standard, when you're not achieving the criteria. And again, if you're truly leveling up, you almost become your own self-teacher, whereas your coach, your teachers, your trainers, instructors, they pretty much act as mentors and guides, letting you know, yeah, you're on the right path. Pull back or continue to do what you're doing and level up. That's what I mean when I say do the reps. So whenever you start doing the reps, it's not about going faster, trying to do more, or any of that. It's just stay consistent, because consistency is king. And if you do that, it'll take you to the next phase of your training. That's all I got for you today. I am Coach Suss, and you've had words with the Mad Coach.